All right, so my name is Kelsey Ferris, and I'm joined here with David Ray, and we just had our forum in the auditorium, and now we're going to ask you a couple follow-up questions.
Great.
So our first question is from Twitter, and it says, how can you expect to attract and retain the best teachers with the band system?
Yeah, Kelsey, that's a good question, and that's actually one of my concerns. The band system, for those of you that don't know, is where we actually pay teachers differently based on their position. So a first, second, third grade teacher might be at the very lowest band. A physics teacher might be at the higher band. It's very unfortunate because we're losing the edge, especially for those elementary teachers who are not being paid as well as Cherry Creek or Littleton schools. And so I think that probably is one of the number one concerns we have, is that band system, because it's really based on how many applications you get. So if you have 50 applications for a first grade position and you only have 5 applications for a physics teacher, then they say the physics teacher should just be paid more just because of that. And I'm under the belief that it should be more than just what your title is. It should be about your knowledge. It should be about your experience. It should be about whether you've been able to prove that you have good student outcomes. And I think that ought to be the things that you consider when you place people on a salary schedule. So the bands I think it's a good question. I think it's one of the reasons why our district is losing the edge of really recruiting high quality teachers, because the other school districts don't use the bands, and therefore teachers choose to go there as opposed to Douglas County.
What went through your mind when Robbins made that pretty personal dig on you?
Those of you that weren't there, Robbins made some comment about me pocketing money because I was giving the truth about how much principals actually get in terms of per pupil funding. And it's actually only half of what the state gives us. So the other half of those monies actually stay at the district level. I guess I'm a forgiving man. I got to be honest. I mean, I don't hold grudges. And so when he said that, I felt like he kind of shot himself in the foot, kind of made him look unprofessional to say something like that. And really, as a board member, you have to be careful what comes out of your mouth. I mean, you have to represent the board with good demeanor and decorum, and unfortunately he let that down. And I think it was just obvious then to the people that were listening who might be the better candidate. So no, I don't hold grudges, but he was absolutely false in his statement that principals do only get about half of the dollars, and the rest of the money stays in the district, and for good reasons. I mean, they pay the utilities and the maintenance and all that kind of stuff. I think it should be more. I think we should have more given to the principals to distribute directly in these classrooms, as opposed to so much of it staying at the district level. But no, I have no offense. I just think he probably just revealed the kind of person he is.
So as a journalist, it makes it hard when I'm trying to post things or search things when certain sites are blocked. And many people think that might be censorship, which should not be allowed. What's your views on that?
So you're saying here as a student, there's kind of that firewall that doesn't allow you to go to different sites. Is that your question?
Right, because for example, like tonight's broadcast was done through YouTube, but you can't access YouTube at the school. Yeah,
see, I know that there's, that's put in place supposedly to have some kind of security so that students aren't accessing sites that are inappropriate, but I agree with you. I mean, I think, the reality is that you guys are far more smarter than we are, and so if a student really wants to override that firewall, they're going to figure out how to do it, quite honestly. So to me, it's about teaching students ethical responsibilities, and it's about a consequence. As a principal, if I find a student exploring an inappropriate site, guess what? Your privilege is gone, because I can no longer trust that you're going to be ethical in going to the sites that are appropriate. The reality, though, unfortunately, on the internet is that you can type almost any word and you might be directed to an inappropriate site. The key is that we teach students to say, when I hit an inappropriate site, how do I get out of it immediately so that it doesn't look poorly, that I'm doing the wrong thing. So I absolutely agree with you, Kelsey. I think for us to try to use a filter to block certain websites is silly. We ought to be able to trust our students to do the right thing and have the ethics, and especially that's what research is all about. You shouldn't be restricted of where you should be able to go to get the research. So, you know, you go home and you don't have a filter, you know, so why not have that same expectation here at school that says, we trust you. If you blow our trust, though, there's going to be a consequence.
Awesome. Thank you so much.